Okay, so hey, it's just so Trish. And I don't know about you, but with today and the way the world is changing, literally moment to moment, here's my 2 cents. Here's my 2 cents. Here's my method of what I think, how I feel, and what I'm doing. So number one, I have not been YouTubing as much because I have been working. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you put it, work has kicked up, and I have been working um, a full time status, which has been a hard adjustment. I think I need to spend a little money and get a cleaning lady, which is kind of a hard pill to swallow. But hey, Taros. So I want listen, I have found myself coming to days before a chemical explosion, before mysterious balloons, before apparently now we have aliens and whatever else we have. You're getting my 2 cents. So some of you might be appalled by this. Some of you might be like, yep. Um, I'm not comfortable with the way the world's going. I am at the aspect of like, I am not comfortable to the things of what I homeschooled and raised my children to be and the expectations as we move to this moment in time. I don't think are applicable anymore. I mean, I'm literally at great judgment going, I don't even think you need to get a job. Jesus is coming. Um, I hope so. I hope it's soon because it's a little scary out there. So I'm looking at the expectations and just listening. I think that's a big part. I've been slow to talk about this. I've usually not. I'm certain if you have watched me over the years, there's an indication that probably a little prepperness to me. Mostly because my grandparents, I was raised a lot by my grandparents and they came through the Great Depression. So there's this aspect of like, hey, how do I take care of me? We just went through um the hurricane not that long ago. We are still doing pickup and everything else from the hurricane. So we still have some of that going and living that out going, and then they're talking about the great reset of, I feel like I'm just talking points. This is all I've been hearing. And it's so strange because I do have an addiction. I'm working on it. This is something I am in conversation with God about, dealing with my phone. But it was so strange last night because I don't know if I was strolling Instagram. I don't know if I was strolling Facebook. I don't know what I was, but I kept coming up to these videos of just almost to say revelation like signs. And but then at this, almost to the point of just becoming so uncomfortable. I don't know if any of you all are getting caught in those rabbit holes. You know, I heard that like all of our military on airspace is active across the country. Um, I've heard, I've heard, did we bomb the energy pipeline or did Russia bomb the energy? These are the things we're hearing. Are we hearing about the blue lights in the sky? And so I was thinking about this as I'm listening, and I'm just listening. I'm not listening. I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, let me put my finger, kind of like, let me put my finger on your pulse. What's the pulse? And that's what I feel like I'm kind of doing with social media. Like, what's my community's pulse going on? And I was thinking about it. If what would be something the devil could do that could turn believers into unbelievers to denote everything as we know, to question everything we've ever been taught, or to make us abandon our thoughts. I was thinking about that. And I thought about it and I said, you are right, aliens. You got it right there. Because in the whole thing of it, if there's such thing as aliens, why isn't that biblical? So what would the devil have to send? Aliens. So would they really be aliens or would they just be demonic forces? And I kind of got thinking about that. I'm like, that would be a change of scheme of things. But I'm not going to go in biblical because I'm just going to tell you I'm in no way prepared to fight those fights or have those discussions. I don't think that's my place. God has built me for other things, but that was my thought. Was there's a lot of demonic stuff going on. I just can't even believe the TV right now, the TV and the stuff on TV. And I'm so frustrated. Like going back, I gotta put my glasses on. My eyes are totally wigging out from the strain of looking at the comments. But let me turn this. But I've heard that there was a satanic ritual on TV recently. Probably on the Super Bowl. Probably on the Super Bowl. You know? Um it's just like what is going on? What is going on? And I'm just so over it. It was the award show. Yeah, it was the award show. So, what are you doing? Let me tell you what I'm doing. So, the price of eggs are astronomical. Like $4 a dozen. What's $4 a dozen? That's 33 cents an egg, 35 cents an egg, something insane like that. So, I spent $10. I don't even know. Wherever you're at, not what you can order online, but wherever you're at, how much is it to buy a chick? I got a dog that my daughter got a dog. It's driving me nuts. I'm curious. So, like to get chicks, we were talking about buying chicks in one of the big hatcheries. People in this area. I don't know how much a chick is. That's my current question. Like, how much is a chick at your local feed store? Because with the price of everything going out of this world, out of just whatever, we're in a rural area, so we're talking about like the price of chicks and getting chickens and stuff. And so they're doing the hatchery. One of the hatcheries is sold out for the entire year 2023. Everything is pre-purchased all the way up until November, October, October, I think they stopped sending out. And so it's just crazy. And then I'm messing with my lights because I'm having issues with my eyes. So we were looking at that. So I pulled out my incubator and I bought 2 dozen eggs off one person, and ours are running between $3 to $5 each, depends on the breed. Okay, so that's not too bad. I heard like they're going to be up to $10 a chick. YouTube Doug and Stacey off the grid, and I've been talking a lot about the price of chickens and are being sold for $25 in some places. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So I went ahead. I put a call out on Facebook. Who has eggs in my area? I bought the incubator. It's just the general one from Tractor Supply. I bought it a couple years ago, and my husband's like, "You're never gonna make your money on that." Well, I got my money this week, so I bought some eggs for $10 off a family that could use the money, and then another person stepped out and said, "Hey, you can come get whatever I have today. You can come get my poll." So the one family that I bought from, 6 of her 21 eggs hatched. I only had 20 eggs of hers in my incubator. I pared them down. So half of them were a little older, but only 6 hatched of her 20. And I essentially paid $10 for those eggs, which works about right because that's still less than $2 a chick. So I did good. The donation eggs from the other friend of mine, she's like a national poultry judger that happens to be in the area. Her chicks were so robust. I mean, like, so there you go. Like, not all chicks are the same because her chicks were so robust. Like, the first set of chicks, they'd hatch. Some of them died trying to hatch out because it just took them forever. They just didn't have the energy to get out of the egg. And it took them a long time. So I noticed that where the other ones, the other set, they'd be out in an hour, where this would take like a day and a half to get out. And then it's too late, they die. And if y'all don't know, but if you like pop them out for them, they die. You can't help them out. And I don't know how the first one lives, like that first set of eggs, how they live, the 6 out of 20. But I know that the other ones, they live kind of free range. and they're in a nice area. So they're really a robust chicken. And her batch, 21 eggs. Are you ready to find out what my hatch rate was? 19. 19 out of 21 hatched. I could not believe it. That's phenomenal numbers. So I definitely want to get hers again, but she's not going to be back available to get eggs from her for another week and a half. So my neighbor down the road, he's like, him and I were talking, and so I've made a deal, and this is kind of what my premise I'm going to go on. I'm going to do another round from the one batch, but if you give me the eggs, and this is something you could do too, this might be something you're interested in, is working with people who have a rooster and hens, so don't get sterile eggs. That's the worst thing you can do. Is I'm splitting 50-50. So I fill up my incubator with their eggs, and whatever hatches, one for one. And I tell them, if there's an odd one, you get it. Quick newbie question. We can't have chickens where I live. What are people who have eggs willing to trade for them? We have been focusing on trade items like worm tea and fermented honey and garlic. Oh, I think whatever you can get. I really think whatever you can get. I mean, even just seed starts would be phenomenal. So I have chicks. I have right now 25 chicks. I got $10 into it and whatever the power is to get those chicks. So I really came out great. The person that does the live chickens, the meat birds that we did at Christmas, because we butchered 44 birds right before Christmas. He had ordered 25 chicks also. So he's got chicks coming, but they won't be here for 3 weeks. So my goal has been to like up him, be like, look how many I got for, not any money versus yours. So I don't know how long. I think I'm just going to keep doing chicks and kind of helping to populate the chicken community in my area. That's like one of the things I've got going on. But first, taking care of me first, like making sure I have my birds and just bringing in new birds constantly. So that's like the first thing I've done. Like it's hitting the fan. That's the first thing I've done. What have you seen about the chicken supply chicken food brands making chickens not lay? What are your thoughts? Someone said Purina makes do more and the other Tractor Supply feed. So I'm not touching on that conversation since I was changing over. So this is perfect. In the 4-H community, so there's a lot of families, a lot of parents talking, a lot of kids with birds. Yeah, this is an issue. They're not laying eggs for real. What I've heard, Land O'Lakes, who took the Indian off the land on the butter, and Land O'Lakes is a Florida company. They just bought into free range birds, chicken laying. And so they got into that, and all that means is that like they have like a couple extra square feet more per bird, like 2 or more square feet per bird is your ratio, not that they're actually running the fields. And they have an interest in Purina, and Purina makes these sub products. So I think there's something going on. I think there's something not being taken out, but I think there's something being added that's not, because then there's a conversation, and this is again putting my finger to the pulse of social media and what people are talking about. And I think there's a lot of credit to let's make this whole backyard chicken thing feel like too much work to discourage. So then you're going to give it up to purchase. I definitely think just leaving it to chicken scraps or kitchen scraps for the birds is the best. If you can do that, I mean, then as an environmental engineer, that has always been my thing. Like, if you could just remove the food out of the waste cycle to the landfill is phenomenal. Just do that. Bring the carbon, put the skin back on the earth, and bring that carbon content back. I just did get a load of mulch. In some ways, I was just watching Justin Rhodes. He's in Florida right now, so he went to Echo. He called it Eco, but it's Echo, like an echo. He went to Echo. He went to a farmer's market in Bonita Springs, which I was like, oh, you're in Bonita Springs. I wouldn't have thought that, but okay. And then he went to see Pete at Go Green, and I'm looking forward, because Pete at Go Green or Grow Green, I think it's called Grow Green. He, I gotta look. I don't know. He would, um, he's opening up a place in like Polk County I'll be able to go to. Sorry, I get distracted. So he's kind of doing learning gardens too. But they were just talking about bringing in the mulch, healing the ground and making things more growable. And if you put chickens on there, there's your nitrogen unit to get your whole compost, and then they're stirring it up and even possibly putting pigs on it. So I was like, And then I have a problem because we have an invasive grass that's really hard to digest on animals that is taking over. It's called Kogan grass. And the only way you can get rid of it is to literally just chemically burn the land for a couple of years because the rhizomes are just insane. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I wonder what it would be like if we dumped mulch and did like a test pilot of dumping all these wood chips, because they're still cleaning up the hurricane debris, and dumping it where my Kogan grass is. Like, would that do a sustainable build? And then, oh, well, we can move the egg laying chickens there too. Like, that would be phenomenal kind of thing. So I've been playing with those kind of ideas, but I have to have time. And like I said, I'm stuck working full time right now. So that's not really working. I'm not teaching. I'm just doing engineering, which has been a nice thing to do. So then on that side, I've been planting seeds. And so one of the things I really want, I have a big tiller. And I went to film like, hey, you guys want to see zone 9, zone 10 garden activities, and my phone zapped because it had no more storage. I have to clean my phone off. What about do the cardboard on the invasive grass and building the garden on top of that? I'm also an engineer. Oh, geospatial. Oh, nice. I'm environmental. So I have acres. I have about 6 acres of Kogan grass. So filling the cardboard on there is just really not going to be a go for my husband. In fact, getting the mulch brought in is not going to be a go with my husband. I'd have to sell it to him on a test method. So I'm thinking if we put anywhere from 2 to 3 feet worth of mulch in a farm, and I'd have to do at least a 10-foot radius, because the rhizomes can go 10 feet. So you really want to, otherwise they're going to pop out somewhere else. And that's not what we want. So I'm curious, like if I could pile like 3-4 feet high of mulch in a area, could we start killing over time, kill out the Kogan grass, which I'd have to do more research on Kogan grass to find out like how long they can go dormant. Like if they can go dormant for 2 years, then we're out of luck. We're going to have to burn it out. And I like the idea. And so I've done that before too, where I've coated my area of garden and filled it with mulch, and I couldn't get the planting on it at all. But then I will tell you, areas that I've covered in mulch year after year after year after year have done phenomenal. Have phenomenal dirt, but I don't grow there because I don't have a good watering system in play, and I'm one person. I can't do it all. So things I've been focusing on is one of my favorite things. That would be cool video series on how you do all that, right? It takes a little time. I need to get better at using this and stop using this for my videos. I have this. It's just having the time to sit and do it. I won't lie. Like I have presentations this week. I'm working at a water treatment facility. I'm literally all over the place. So it's like, what can I handle? And some of it's like, well, just video it and then edit it later on. I bought the micro seed blocker. I have the plastic. I'm getting to the point where I want to make sure I'm investing in things that are long-term and not a short-term solution. And it's easier to store. So, and then I've been building things again. So I've been loving that, like just getting the power tools out, and enjoying the power tools. So, I'm using my micro blocker just to see what my seed viability is and how much is actually germinating is the big one, getting to germinate. So I am germinating tons and tons of seeds, mostly because my seeds are getting old. I want them out. And then once I've supplied what I want, I thought I could sell them. And that's kind of my idea with the chicks. Like if I can do this 50-50 with people and incubate their eggs. Now I'm going to tell you, if I have a low hatch rate, I'm probably not going to want to incubate your eggs again. And I'll go to somebody else. But so if I have 41 and say we get 30 eggs hatch and I get 15, what are you saying? Wanting to share a blessing, I got accepted into the master's garden program for Clatsop County. Been gardening for 10, 11 years, but the information is so precious, especially as we're going forward. Yeah. We don't have the master gardeners program. There's in neighboring counties they do, but I don't have it here. But my thought is, if I get like 10 or 15 chickens and I can sell them at $5 a piece, there's $50. And I don't think like that's not worth it for my time, but that's a good thing for my kids. Like one of my kids, I will kind of hand that project off to them and say, here, you can make $50 at, every 3 weeks. You got to clean. These are the things you have to do. Here you go. Have them do that. And that'd be some great little side money. Or even trade them for things like trade the chicks for different ideas. I'm working on, I just had my first success at propagating my mulberry tree. So I've tried in the past, I didn't. And I've watched all kinds of, complicated things about propagating, and I needed to prune it. I pruned it. I went through and I spent a couple hours just trimming all the stalks, and I probably did 250 propagation sticks. And right now I have over 100 that have actually sprouted. No roots yet, but they're growing. So I'm on the right path. And my thoughts on that one. So on that whole scheme of just being self-sufficient, my thoughts are, how do I have fruit? How could I have fruit on my property that I can that's a sugar source? Because sugar is important, but that's a sugar source. And I mean, mulberries are not perfect, but for some reason I can grow them here so easily. And so I'm like, well, mulberries would be it. Now buying a mulberry tree, $15, $25, $34, $40, you never know. Here I can get 100 trees. Now, do I want to put 100 trees of the same genetic copy of my one tree on my property? No, because that's going to cause, like, if a disease comes through, it's going to be really easy to wipe out my mulberry trees. So I am going to put some of them on my property, but I'm hoping to sprout them up and I can use them as a trading mechanism to hit other mulberry trees in the area to kind of get a more genetic, what's the word I'm looking for? Diversity, more genetic diversity. So I'm growing these to trade. I'm going to sell them, and hopefully get more mulberries in my area, because that's the other part too, is like if I can get more mulberries in my area and my neighbors are more self-sufficient, then if it hits the fan, we can all kind of somewhat provide. I just bought a scatatoon bush and we already keep blueberries, but just so I want to diversify. Yeah. But the other aspect is that's assuming that we're a year or two out. And I'm going to be honest, I don't even know if we're 6 months out with it just shutting down. Well, and that's the thing, Terry Rose, like some of my favorite, okay, I'm giving you the full spectrum. For years, my favorite kind of books are dystopian books. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just like a preparing, I haven't read Fahrenheit 41. I need to read that one. But, like 1984 is one, Brave New World is one, 1 Second After is a very up-to-date one. In fact, it's a trilogy. And that guy was just on Glenn Beck's little show. I guess he's got another book coming out. And 1 Second After, it's just so strange because this is not something I ever really want to talk publicly about because it's far-fetched. And what I don't like right now is it does not feel far-fetched. It feels very close to home. And so are you prepared to tell your neighbors, like, sorry about your bad luck, you should have thought about that and had food? I don't want to be in that situation. So my thoughts are, I'd like to say, I hope you have enough. Here's a plant. Go grow it, Here's a tree. Go put this in your yard. Grow these things to have something. Even if we just feed birds with it for a while. But you have to be thinking of, you want your community to stay as your friend and not become your enemy because they want what you have. So what can you do to help them out? So that's some of my thinking. So in my mulberries, I'm cutting those up. I have about 100. I plan to keep about 15 or 20 of them. I have 10 acres, and I will put them out on the property and grow them once rainy season comes. Hopefully they'll be big enough, and I don't have to wait any longer than that. So I have mulberries. So then I got this tiny little seed blocker. I'm growing a ton of seeds. I don't have a place to put those seeds yet, So I'm looking at my little box garden. One of the things I have, collard greens. I just did, I have cabbage, and I just planted curly kale, and I have Swiss chard I just planted. So I can't pick from them. But talking to another kind of homesteader mom, she's like, we just eat mixed greens. I just go out there and cut green things, and I cut it up. And I'm like, we live on green beans. I mean, they're fine. They're fine. They're green beans. But there's more nutritional value in eating a variety of greens than green beans. And I have not had success in growing green beans. So looking at and listening to David the Good, like, what's the best nutritional way? And there's another one that I think Pete's been sharing, the guy that like ate for 100 for 1 year, not 100 days, 1 year out of what he could catch and forage and grow. And he was down there in like Fort Lauderdale or something like that, or Orlando. And just thinking like, okay, what is going to give me the most nutritionally dense food that I can feed my kids? What can I grow? Because I know the garden boxes, which hopefully I'll be able to show you in a week or two, my garden boxes are not enough to feed a family of 8. Like that's just reality. Like what I have here is not enough to feed a family of 8. So just trying to think of like, how do I prepare myself that puts us in a good situation? Because I was listening to one, they predicted the pandemic like a year out, and 6 months later it showed up. Now they're predicting, I don't think they're predicting, I think they're warning that we're going to have some type of security with our electronics or something via EMP. In reality, they don't even need to do an EMP, electric magnetic pulse. They can simply take one power plant out. And so the way the power plant system works, they can take one out and it would just cause a chain reaction for blackouts. And it would just require so much to work. Ooh, I just got an email. My daughter got a 5 on her biology that she had to take in December. Look at that. All right, so people I listen to. So I got to turn this down, otherwise it's going to blast me. I don't know. I listen to so many people, and forgive me, I'm having a really hard time with my memory. My memory is good and it's sharper, but like retaining so much information has been hard for me lately. It's going all right. All right, so let's see. See if I can pull something up. I gotta put. So I definitely listen to Glenn Beck. Not heavily, because he can send you into a panic attack like nobody's business. I like to listen to Young Americans Federation Foundations, Young America's Foundations. Yes, it's ultra conservative. Communication Hub, that's what it is. Well, and that's just like, in some of the stuff I'm just watching, like I'm kind of sick and tired of Facebook. I mean, I like Instagram. I don't get it as much, but Facebook I feel like when you started with Facebook, you could just see everything on everybody. Yeah, that's the Young American Foundations. And now it's like you're just shoved with, it's like commercials and there's no meat. It's just commercial, commercial, commercial. of things that you're not even wanting to get or trying to get. Um, what's that guy's name? He's on. Mm, I like the Texas boys. They're good. Um, I'm on here and like I'm literally I can't like my people that I watch are not there. It's like they're getting kicked out. Mm, I just plant abundance. I'm kind of giving him a shout out because he wants us to go viral. The Palestine, Ohio. He's like, yeah, we can just plant plants and we can absorb and do all the remediation through that. I'm like, yes, but that cannot be your only method. Just as bioremediation goes, he's like, I want this to go viral. He's like, is food gardening in East Palestine, Ohio still possible? He's like up to 2.9 thousand views in like the last 12 hours. It is possible, but it's not going to be your first word. Like the first part they should have done. I don't even know why they ignited this. Listen, going on that aspect, and isn't it amazing how we have one chemical spill and then like we have several in a couple weeks? Like when a plane crashes in a food factory and then we have several more in a couple weeks. And he's like, we just need to plant plants and we're going to do all this. It does work. I mean, I sat next to people who studied this in graduate school. I totally understand bioremediation is a useful tool. It's like solar power. You don't want to run your mainframe on it, but you can totally provide some pieces of electrical needs with solar panel. I'm against using solar panels primary unless it's a decentralized system. Like if you want to load your house with solar panels, have at it. I am all for it. Thumbs up. I'm your biggest cheerleader. You want to go fill a field with solar energy panels that only collects 15% of the heat energy that it's pulling in and then actually heats up the biosphere around it, causing actual heating indexes to increase to add to the system is garbage. That's my personal thoughts on it. It's garbage. It's unreliable. It's just being financially funded through government as an incentive. So they're doing it. So, FBL, if you hear me, I'm not a supporter. Going back to bioremediation. Bioremediation is great about getting the local area out, but you're going to have to wait. And then, like, say, arsenic and copper. When you have CCA plywood or pilings in the ground, there's a type of fern that will grow and absorb the arsenic out. Phenomenal, right? But now the arsenic's in the plant. And if you let the plant decompose, it goes right back. So you'd have to collect and remove the plant. In Palestine, there should be air pollution controls before they ever ignited the dang thing. I don't even understand. Like, I can't even get into those things. Like, you're going to hear the like total environmental engineer come out of me because who approved that to ignite it? There's not a single air pollution control apparatus available. They just open fired. Somebody's going to jail for that. Somebody's going to jail. I don't care what they're saying. It's okay right now. No, you're causing a whole new chemical reaction. So, anyways, plants do great, but you have that's one small piece for getting your little finite areas out. Fantastic. But that can't be your only one. Sorry, I'm totally like, I think his heart is in the right place. I just think it's a little delusional to think that is your primary one. All right, come on. Who am I listening to? I listen to a lot of. I love Awaken with JP. He kind of cracks me up. You know him. He cracks me up. Oh, here we go. Michael Knowles. I like watching him. Who else? A lot of preppers. I watch a lot of diet stuff, trying to just control my health. Again, Glenn Beck is on there. Candace Owens. I like Candace Owens a lot. David the Good's my favorite. He just makes me feel better. I'll listen to Fox News. Justin Rhodes makes me not feel so crazy. Redact. I just started watching Redact. Cooper stuff is good. He talks about more of the Christian left. I got to write that down. Cooper stuff. There's another one. I listened to Albert Mueller. Yeah, I like Redact. At first, I think I started watching Redact because he looks. So they're talking about the Palestine. He looks like Michael Knowles on Redact, but yeah, cause see him. I feel like he's an old version of Michael Knowles. I like Albert Mueller. There's another one I've just started watching on Instagram. Let's see. I cannot remember his name. The Blaze. The Blaze. Of course. If you just looked, it's like all my stuff is like homeschooling. Here's one that I've been liking that she's been doing. Is Awaken Homeschool Mama. So it's she has been getting a lot of good stuff. Awaken _homeschool _mama. Here she is doing side-by-side reactions. She has been doing, and I mean, I don't think she's a big Instagram handle, but she has been putting out, oh no, she's 63,000 followers. She's big. She has been doing some phenomenal stuff. Thank you for posting all these that I say, because I can't do it all. I think this is my guy, Chris Blitz. Is that my guy? Yeah, this is another one. No, it's not Chris Blitz. I thought he's been kind of posting stuff. It's funny who's going conservative or who's coming out now is like, yeah, maybe that wasn't like where I should be. Let's see. There's another one. This guy, he's a funny guy. Really, really funny guy. So like my feeling is like prepare for no food. Prepare for no, just I hope it doesn't come. But with the cost of like my dang credit card bill, whatever I can do to prepare, I need to do and not spend so much. Oh, nope, it's not Kenny Evans. Kenny Evans is really good. City Prepper. See, I'm writing it down. I know I got to get off here though, because I have 10 places to be and things to do. And I only snuck on here because I had the chance. Kenny Evans. Kenny Evans is phenomenal. So if you don't know, Kenny Evans was like a country singer in the 90s, and now he's a gospel singer. He, I will finish you in prayer. I definitely will. Absolutely. And he now does tours, and he can sing all these different levels. And he actually, in his testimony, brought my like 9-year-old to Christ. I mean, I feel like we were preparing the grounds, but came to that decision. So Kenny Evans is phenomenal. He's up there in the Pigeon Forge area during season. So if you ever get the chance to get to be there, do it. I'm going to go with Crick Splix. He's got a lot that he's been doing. It's CHRIXBLIZ on Instagram. These are Instagram ones. So there's several of them on Instagram that I watch and just kind of keep in mind of. A lot of gardening, like I'm having like the Urban Harvest. Have you watched the Urban Harvest? That one's really good too. Urban Harvest. So just kind of keeping an eye out. I just feel like we're in a place, and I know this is not my normal, like, let's go there, but how do I prepare my space and use my space? Like we have Epic Gardening. We have, I gotta write that down. We have 4 pigs right now. 3 are definitely, hopefully will make it to the fair, but 1 is for sure not going to make it. And it's a female purebred. And I have a stud muffin that I'm going to get after our fair so we can breed her. And the goal is that we can breed her. I don't know what I'm going to do with him, if we're going to cook, if we're going to keep him as the man he needs to be, or if we're going to butcher him. And then we have the 3 that will hopefully go to fair. My kids will make their money. But we're looking at breeding a pig. And in doing that, we need to build her a new pen. And I'm looking at the deep mulch system for her pen to keep it clean. And we'll breed her and we'll have, bacon seeds. Why is that good? One, next year, nothing's going on. Next year, we have piglets to sell for the next fair season. Things aren't going good. We have piglets to grow to eat. Just giving us that ability that we're not every time we start a project. And I think that gets to be the hard part. Like every time you want to raise pork, you got to go buy a pig. You got to find the pig. Just taking that one unknown, because I've had years where it's been very hard to get a pig, to get 4 pigs. We have 2 steers and 2 heifers on the property. So the 2 steers will be butchered at the end of the summer. They started out as kid projects and they realized they didn't have the time or energy to handle it. So from there, they stopped and we just said, we'll raise them out. And so we were doing half a steer. We put half a steer in our freezer last June, and it's about gone. So I definitely want to stick to 1 whole steer going into the next year, because I'm going to be out. I have another kid. They're doing the hog and ham program here in Florida with 4-H. So she is going to raise her own pig and then butcher that pig and learn how to do the butchering and how to do the smoking of the pig. So that's going to be amazing. So I have those aspects in. We have heifers on property, so we can easily breed the heifers, and we have more steers if need be. But it takes a long time to get there. So we're still in the aspect of like, come this summer, I need to get 2 more steers. And so one of the deals I have going on now, and I've talked to people, is I'm going to keep the 1 steer for me. The other steer I'm going to sell and buy at a half. So you can buy a half interest. You can buy a half interest. I send them to the slaughterhouse. I pay processing and you pay your packaging and all of that. So we're looking at those aspects, especially with the price. We'll do another round of meat birds soon. They taste phenomenal. And it comes down to just I've always had a weary sense of distrust, and now I just have the utmost distrust. I feel like they're trying to kill us off. And they might not. I don't know. Jesus might be around the corner. Come on, Jesus, let's go. And it's just looking at, can I make decisions now that if it's not in my life, which I find so hard to believe, if it's not in my life, what are the things we can do that gives us the longevity and resources for our whole life, that provides for us if we only have a short time now when things go bad? What can we do, if that makes sense? I don't want to cut off 30, 40 years from now in the instance for the moment. And yet I don't want to be so concerned with 30 or 40 years from now that we put ourselves in a bind to never be, I don't want to say like resourceful or successful, or I don't even want to use those words, because in the end, in the whole scheme of things, God has got this. And if his intent is my last days to be here and my days to come to an end through starvation, then it's through starvation. Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure I'm in his will, with his design, with what he's got going on, not mine. And that kind of goes into like working full time. Like, am I chasing money, or am I chasing my time? Am I in agreements with God's will for how much I work? Real questions. So that's like things I'm thinking about. Like, say my kids don't go to college. I've worked so much time to get here to that. Can they go into a place to do the work that they need, that can provide for them in the means that they need to and that they should be, with success and open doors that makes them, I'm at a loss for words. I'm just a little bit like, I don't know. So I'm going to end this. This is just, I'm hatching chickens. I'm starting seeds, because who knows how things will be. We should get some bees. Anyways, we don't know how things are going to be. And at the same time, like the folks in Palestine, I was listening on the Glenn Beck about, they had like horses and everything, and there's people like preparing for end times in Palestine, because they see it's hitting a fan, only for everything to be wiped out thanks to a chemical spill that will be like years and years and years. And some of them who are not even in a place that they can leave will probably die there in the next 2 or 3 years because of this. So that's the other aspect too, is like, don't hold your treasures on earth. Don't be weary, because brothers in Palestine, that was the channel. No, 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 no. I'm talking about the chemical spill in Palestine, Ohio. That it's in Palestine. Like, I'm imagining, like, can you imagine if your homestead was in that area? Everything you worked for, all your animals, essentially, if you can't get them out and thrown in a vehicle, and then have a place to go, they're dead. They are dying. And they're like, yeah, but at least there hasn't been any human deaths yet. Yet is your word. Yet. Because those little animals are your indicator species. They die before you do, but you will die too. And that's just the aspect of, like, I don't want to like grow my treasures here on earth and thinking I have this all good, and because like the people in Palestine, it could be gone. Who knows what they've got going on. All right, so that's all I wanted to say. Just grow things. Even if it's like, I'm going to buy a pack of seeds and I'm going to plant every seed in a pot, and then I have a pepper plant that I can trade. You never know. Like, what would be things you trade? Soap? Can you make soap? What can you do? Because they're talking about the great reset, and they're talking about like authenticity. I was listening to one about authenticity, talking about like the chip, where you can take a pill and you submit electronic frequencies that authenticate that you are on the Wi-Fi, for your Wi-Fi to work, for you to be able to exchange money. It's insane. It is like the end times have been holding off for so long, and now it's rushing in. It's insane. I couldn't ever imagine this be it. All right, so I'm going to pray for you, and then I'm going to get off and do my thing, and hope to see you in the coming weeks. Oh, people are home. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this time that we got to be together, Lord. Just give us peace of mind and to understand that you're in control. It is not a surprise to you. Hold on, I'm on a live stream. Hold on, I'll be there in a second. Dear Heavenly Father, give us the temperament to know that you're in control, dear Lord, and just guide us in where you need us to be and what you have for us to do. Lord, let us not hide our heads in fear, but let us not consume ourselves in information either, Lord, that it becomes almost an idol. Lord, just guide us in the peace of mind that transcends all understanding, and guide our hearts and our minds with you, dear Lord. And let us not be anxious. Let us just be able to walk forward in your plan. In your Son's precious name I pray. Amen. I will talk to you soon. Love you all. And I'll see you again.